hello, and welcome to Orion Today. I am Joe Johnson, and once again, I am joined by Tracy Woodrum.
Yes.
Thanks for coming out today.
Thanks for having me back.
We got the wearing the green going on because this weekend is St. Patrick's Day, or I should say Monday St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
But
all
I think
the
everyone's
celebrations, right?
Yeah, will be this weekend.
Yeah.
I can't imagine celebrating St. Patrick's Day on Monday and having to go to work on Tuesday. So.
No, I'm sure there will be people calling in that day.
Got any plans this weekend? Do you celebrate?
I mean, sometimes, like if friends are going out, I'll go out and celebrate. This weekend I might have an event to go to, but we'll see. I'm getting ready to go to Florida in a couple of weeks, so I have a lot to do laundry, pack, pull out all my summer gear. So
coincidentally, we now have an Irish tavern in downtown Lake Orion.
Yes.
They used to be Fork and Pint. They rebranded, same owner, new branding. But yeah, if you're looking for some Irish fare, I guess.
I might walk down. I mean, that's only a few blocks from my house. Yeah. So every time I pass by, they have the signs. They're open early and for breakfast. So if you're looking for a place to go in downtown, that is definitely going to be a good spot.
And the timing could not be more perfect. Their official ribbon cutting ceremony is this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So the chamber will be down there having the official grand opening.
Yeah.
And so, there's your place.
Yeah.
And Canterbury Village probably does St. Patrick's Day themed things too, I would imagine.
They may. I typically stay in downtown Lake Orion. All of the restaurants tend to do something and have specials. Oat Soda, once a year, they make this really good cheese dip that they only have. He only does it for St. Patrick's Day, and usually he knows I love it. Jason, the owner, he knows I love it, so he'll send me pictures of all the cheese, that he's prepping and stuff to make it. So I'm sure I'll make a stop there to get some of that hot cheese.
I stopped in there over the weekend. I had some smoked sausage and pierogies. It was excellent.
Yes, their Polish platter is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned doing things in downtown Lake Orion. This Saturday, the DDA, the Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority, is having what they're calling their pregame. Yeah. And I looked at it, I'm like, is there a game that night? And they're talking about pregaming for St. Patrick's Day. So starting at 5 p.m. in downtown Lake Orion, they're going to have sort of a restaurant crawl and poker run that you can take part in. And as you go from location to location, you'll be given a playing card, and best hand wins, I guess. That's
fun. I haven't participated in it, but last year I was downtown when the crowds would come in and they had their cards and they were looking. So that was a lot of fun to witness. So.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up. You said something about a fundraiser tonight?
Yeah, tonight at G's Pizza in Lake Orion for the Lake Orion High School Theater Club, the Thespians. They are raising money to go towards the spring musical, which is next month. So all day today. I'm sure if you go on the Lake Orion Instagram page or Facebook, you can get the flyer because you're supposed to show the flyer or let them know that it's for the fundraiser. But they'll 15% of anything that you purchase today. So that will be my dinner tonight. So.
Do you know? Oh, you need a replacement mic.
Okay.
Do you happen to know what that production's going to be yet?
Yeah, it's going to be Chicago.
Ooh, that's
I feel
elaborate.
so official, like I should be singing a song or something right now. Karaoke time.
Do you know any Irish ditties?
It's funny that we're talking about the musical, and all of a sudden I'm handed a mic. I posted. I know one of the songs is "All That Jazz" that's going to be in it because so I posted that on my Facebook page to let everybody know if they wanted to go out. But I'm looking forward to it. My son is part of the crew, so he's been helping to build the set, and he'll be, behind the scenes, moving things around, the nights of the shows. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, the productions that the schools do, not only the high school, but I recently covered the Scripps Middle School production of Annie, and they were spectacular, just absolutely spectacular. So they do such a great job over there.
They really do. They do a fantastic job. And my son has loved it. Like, and this is his first time. He's a senior, but his first time getting involved in the musical, and he's having a great time. Everybody involved they're fantastic. And actually, one of our neighbors, Rowan Dantzler, he's a freshman, and he has the lead in the musical. But coincidentally, both of his parents are opera singers, and they teach as well at Oakland University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their voices are amazing, so it doesn't surprise me that that their son is
Runs in the family.
Yeah,
right?
oh, it definitely does.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
A project that I've been working on over the past couple of weeks is, and we mentioned this on the last show, that on July 30th, it's the 50th anniversary of the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. And he lived right up the road from here. If you take Clarkston to Allendale, the house is at the very end of the road. And so I've been doing some research and reaching out to Lake Orion residents who had a run-in with Jimmy Hoffa, conversations with Jimmy Hoffa, and I've been collecting all kinds of great stories. And I just had someone reach out to me this past weekend that has all kinds of stories. So we're lining up interviews here in the studio, gathering up their stories. I'm going to put together a little documentary. But about 2 weeks ago or so, Jimmy Johnson, no relation, who's with the Orion Historical Society, him and I got to go inside the Jimmy Hoffa house and shoot video and explore, and we saw all kinds of cool old artifacts and stuff.
Anything that led to, any clues to give you
any
hints as to where he might be?
The interesting thing is that when the Hoffa family moved out of that house, they left a lot of belongings behind. Okay. And when the new owner came in, he just kept all that stuff. So there's all kinds of cool little artifacts in the home. And I turned a corner, and sitting on top of a dresser was a brochure that had Jimmy Hoffa's face on it, and it said, "Fight with me." And it was his pitch to be elected the Teamster president, and really cool little artifacts like that. So, so Jimmy Johnson's going to go back in, I believe, on Monday, and the daughter of the owner, who just passed away at the end of last year, she's going to let him pick a few items to keep for the Orion Historical Society.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Does he have any in mind when you were both there? Like, was he scoping
We
it out?
spotted some things here and there.
Yeah.
Interestingly, there's a chair against the window in the living room, and apparently the Mob Museum in Las Vegas has claimed it. Because there's a photograph that you can find online of Jimmy Hoffa sitting in that exact chair in that exact corner of the living room, and it's still sitting in the same spot all these years later, 40 plus years later.
Wow.
So because there's provenance of the photo, the Mob Museum says we want to put it in our collection. So
I don't know
how they're going to get a chair out. Yeah. Oh, I've been meaning to visit. I've been to Vegas a few times, and I've been meaning to get out to that Mob Museum. I hear it's pretty cool. So
yeah, that would be interesting. I'm sure filled with a lot of stories.
Yeah, exactly. So if you or somebody you know has met Jimmy Hoffa, has a story to share, we're trying to gather all those and record those, and I'll be putting together a piece as the anniversary grows near.
Okay, so they should contact you here?
Yes. Reach out to Orion ON TV. You can visit our website, orionontv.org. And so that's a fun project that we're doing.
Yeah.
So
that sounds fun.
We're going to throw it to a break right now. Lots happening with the Chamber of Commerce. They just had a ribbon cutting. They celebrated International Women's Day this past Friday with a big luncheon at 313 Pizza. And the big news is that they had their official grand opening at their new office in downtown Lake Orion at this beautiful Spresser Ogden building. So I was there with my camera, and let's take a look at this piece I put together on the grand opening of the new Chamber of Commerce office. On Thursday, February 27th, members of the community were invited to the Spresser Ogden building on Shadbolt Street in Lake Orion to celebrate the official grand opening of the brand new office of the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce.
Count of three. 1, 2, 3, Chamber! So 2 weeks ago, we had that plan February 13th, doing the whole We Love Small Business theme, which we wound up keeping, but we had to cancel because the chamber weather was not cooperative. We had a big snow day. So we just blasted it out there, and all the people that came out here to get to celebrate with us today, it was just so heartwarming. And I think we have spoken before about when it's your day, it is truly special. And we do so many ribbon cuttings at the chamber. You do forget when it is your own how really special, and all the love and support you see from the community and your friends and relatives and whatnot that will come out to wrap their arms around you and help lift you up and support you.
Coincidentally, the new office is right across the street from the office space the chamber used to occupy in 2014 to 2018. In June of 2018, the chamber hosted a picnic on the grounds of the Orion Center and announced that their offices would be moving into the building. In early 2024, the chamber got word that Orion Township would be selling their portion of the building, and they would have to find yet another location to operate out of. President and CEO Joyce Donaldson approached Bill Ogden of Spresser Ogden, and they reached an agreement to move into space available at the law practice in downtown Lake Orion. The move took place in October, and the business community came together to help with the transition.
So what was really great was last year we developed a trades, builders, and suppliers peer-to-peer network. So I had 50 members at my fingertips that I had to ask, can you move us? Can you donate this? Can you donate that? And everybody stepped up to the plate. Everybody from the sign company to carpets to rugs to the TV that we have here. And then furniture assembly was a big one. So purchase the furniture, but who is going to put all that furniture together? Because the majority of the white furniture here is all new and kind of designed specifically for this space. We have a few more projects that are still to come, but we've had architects come in and talk about, maybe placing a faux wall, and then just a couple other things. But other than that, we're almost complete. So way back in October, we decided that in February we were going to have the ribbon cutting. And so we've been talking about this ribbon cutting and getting super excited for a long time now.
Not only did the open house celebrate the move into new digs, the chamber is also celebrating 75 years of service to Lake Orion's business community.
So the chamber really helps promote business, right? So with that, we host a lot of networking events. We help support new businesses when they start up, telling them the right places to go and different ways to get themselves immersed into the community. We also have advocacy, so we advocate on behalf of the small businesses. So we do a lot of things. So a lot of people, chambers of commerce are throughout the country, right? There's 7,000 chambers in the United States, and 28, I believe, just in Oakland County.
Oh, wow.
And so chambers are just known, across the nation and across the world, actually, of helping promote and support small business. So we are all about small business, right? And we do our best. I think that we have really a great reputation within the community, which is why folks will come to us, and we connect people. So we have lots of networking events. We have structured networking events. We have volunteer opportunities.
The chamber has numerous events planned throughout 2025, including a big 75th anniversary celebration in June. For more information about upcoming events and networking opportunities, visit orionareachamber.com. In downtown Lake Orion, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ON TV News. So congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce on their new location. They were here in the Orion Center in the lower level, but obviously we're going through some changes on that side of the building, so they were forced to relocate. Joyce talked to...
Forced, or maybe they were, happy about the relocation.
There's a lot of work went into it.
I mean, there's always work in moving, right?
Yeah, you got to find all your friends and family, you got to bother them. But no, so they worked out this deal at the Spresser Ogden building. Beautiful location, and they're happy to be there. So
Yeah.
They have lots of events coming up. Like I said, they did the International Women's Day event this past Friday. They're doing a big Women of Inspiration event in May at the Beulah Estate at Addison Oaks.
Oh.
That's a big deal. They'll have keynote speakers and everything there. Like I said, we have ribbon cutting ceremonies coming up, so they have a lot going on at the chamber.
Yeah, they are. They always are putting together some fantastic events.
Yeah.
And doing a lot for the businesses. So.
Speaking of fantastic
Yes.
events, we have a fundraiser coming up that's going to benefit House of Hope.
Yeah.
We have Lindsay here with us to tell us about it. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. That's very exciting that we're here.
So tell us a little bit about House of Hope and what you're all about.
Yeah, so House of Hope is a nonprofit in Metro Detroit where our whole mission, our whole bottom line is what does it look like to be an intentional, loving neighbor. So what's really different about us as an organization is we live in the communities that we serve. So we're in mobile home communities, and so we're in Sterling Heights, we're in Clarkston, we're in Oxford, we're hoping to expand, and we really just focus on what does it look like to do life with our neighbors in a really disconnected generation where most people avoid their neighbors or don't know their names. We want to know their names and their stories. We want to do life with them. We want to help their kids succeed in school. We want to just help any way that we can and just really just be an intentional, loving neighbor. And so our event coming up is a really big deal for us because it's one of the biggest ways that we raise money for the year.
So tell us about that. It's at Paint Creek Country
Yes,
Club?
it's at Paint Creek Country Club on May 9th, which is a Friday. Doors open at 6:45. It's a gala, so it's fancy. We're calling it a night out. And really the intention of calling it a night out is it's going to be an awesome night out. We want it to be, even if you come and at the end of it you're like, that was awesome, we want it to be like, wow, I had a really, really nice night out. I had a great time. And so you'll get to have a really good meal. Yeah. I feel great about the food that we're going to have. Last year we were at the Paint Creek Country Club and we had an incredible meal. I've literally been thinking about it since, and so we're going to have that meal again with a few extra features. I'm very excited.
We were just chatting before we went on camera about this meal because I was just there for a wedding, and to find out that it's going to be a very similar meal with some of my favorite parts.
Yes.
So the beef carving station.
Yes, there's going to be a beef carving station. That is so fancy and so nice. And so it'll be a really lovely meal. There will be drinks. You get to dress up. We'll have a few people playing live music off to the side, which will be really cool. And instead of this year having one speaker sharing about our mission, we're going to interview a few different people. And they're going to give their heart behind why are they involved in our organization? Why did they step up as a volunteer? Why are they a donor? Why do they show up to program weekly? Because we have weekly youth program where we get to hang out with our kids and our families. And so you'll get to hear the whole heart behind why House of Hope is what we are, why we do what we are, or why we do what we do, and just hear the heart behind how we got founded, how we exist, and just really get to partner with us if at the end of the night you're like, oh, I want to join in that. So it'll be a really cool night to hear all about who we are and what we do.
Give us some examples and ways House of Hope helps these families. What are their needs?
Oh gosh, I think it totally ranges. And so weekly, what we do is we have youth nights, and where all of the locations open up their homes. And so we're really big on we want to be connected. We want to do life with you, and what that looks like is opening up your home for a meal. And so every week we have 3 different locations. So we have 3 different youth nights, which is super cool. So the kids come in, they get to have dinner. We teach a Bible story usually. We do crafts or games, get them moving. As it gets warmer, we'll go outside and play. And then we get to do tutoring or homework help. Monthly, we also have a mentoring program where we pair one student up with a really safe adult. Monthly, we also have community events where we just bring the community together, usually grilling hot dogs and having a great time just connecting with our neighbors. But really where I feel like the true ministry happens is randomly. Because we're so involved in our community, they can count on us. They know literally where we live. Yeah. And so they can knock on our door and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or can I just talk about this? We have a lot of kids that have porch conversations where they're like, I just need a listening ear. One of our mission statements that we say is we want every person in our communities to feel seen, heard, and loved. And so whatever we can do to make that. And so it's kind of a tough question to answer, how do we do it? So we have these structured things. A little bit of everything. Right? But it's really just being a good neighbor. Whatever it looks like to show up continuously for your community is what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, and like you said, it's kind of going back several decades or even more, because today most people are they pull into their garage, put the garage door down, don't see anybody. It's rare, I think, to spend more time with your neighbors these days. So that you're there, that you're present, that they know that you're safe and can come. You said kids, what is the age range of kids that you tend to hang out with or see or help?
All over. I feel like Oh gosh, I don't know. Sometimes parents bring their babies, so like it can be that. I would say mostly like elementary to high school is usually what we get, but we also get some young adults that hang out sometimes. It's different at every location and just the stage of what that like mobile home community is going through, and so really all different ages. But what's really cool is like we're in the schools. Like we have kids in Lake Orion High School, we have kids in Clarkson and Oxford, and so it's like we are a part of this community. But yeah, I would say mostly middle school, high school age, kind of elementary school, all over. Just whatever a neighborhood has, like that's what we have. So
Yeah.
You know, so many people are facing housing challenges today. You know, the cost to buy a house is through the roof. The cost of renting is through the roof. I imagine the mobile home community, they're not free from this. I mean, they're experiencing the same challenges, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say, I think sometimes it's really easy to stereotype a neighborhood that you don't know a lot about, but they're going through the same types of things. Their rent is like skyrocketing like anyone else's. Like they have the same issues with groceries that anyone does. And so it's really like, we're just going through the same things. They're just all in a different location. And so yeah, we're just trying to do our best to, how can we walk alongside them? Because eggs are expensive for us too, right? It's like, it's all the same thing, that we just want to be good neighbors. And so, yeah, just the same challenges as everyone else. It just sometimes look a little different over there.
Yeah.
Now this fundraiser is coming up. Would you describe it as your biggest fundraiser of the year?
Yeah.
Talk about, do you also raise funds throughout the year?
Yeah, we're definitely looking for like monthly donors. That's what we do, or that's what we push for the biggest. We also have a golf outing that's a really big deal, and we have little fundraisers here and there where we try and connect with local organizations to, hey, do you want to sponsor this, or do you want to partner with this? But definitely, I would say our two biggest events is the Gala, #1, and then our golf outing, and then little fundraisers here and there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to attend, they want to purchase tickets, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, you can go to houseofhopeministry.org, and that on our website there's a little blurb that you can click, and it'll take you right to the page with all the details, and you can buy a ticket. One ticket is $85, but if you buy a whole table, you get a discount, so people should definitely do that. That would be awesome. Yeah, and it's just going to be a really cool night. Also, if you just go to that website, you can see all the details about us. So you can see what we do, our mission statement. You can go to our gallery and see the kids and the families and the residents that we interact with that are so like precious to my heart, and so you can get to see the faces of who we get to interact and love with and do life with. But yeah, you can scroll through our whole website. We can always use more help with a bunch of different things, so it has all the details on there.
And if you go to the fundraiser, you'll enjoy a meal that you'll be thinking about the entire year.
I think so. I literally think so.
And so with that in mind, you could not only buy tickets just for yourself, but you could gift someone with a nice evening out and a fantastic meal. So, you know, that would be something as well. Buy the table and invite your friends to join.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
It's a really lovely evening. I really thoroughly enjoyed it last year, and I'm really looking forward to it this year too.
That sounds like it's going to be a great event and a great time of year. May, you know, things are starting to warm up a little bit. So for those, you know, get dressed up events, it's, you know, you're not freezing walking in and like you're dressing. I know for guys it's a little different, but for us, you know, in our dresses and our heels and, you know, in the middle of winter, it's, you know, it's not as pleasant as May. So
it's spring. You to look out at the golf course because that room is mostly windows. It's beautiful there. You can take pictures outside, inside.
It is beautiful. Yeah. The event that I was just there for was a wedding, and it was gorgeous. So,
yeah, I've covered lots of events at Pink Creek, and they do a great job over there.
That's incredible.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Oh my gosh, I think I was thinking about this exact question that you might ask me. And I think what's really cool is if someone's watching this right now, that already shows me that they have a heart for their community. And I think what's really cool about us is that's like our whole goal, is just to be in the community. And so if someone's watching this right now, I would really encourage them to check out our website, to come to the gala, hear more about our heart behind just partnering with our neighbors. Because if you're already watching this, that means you're already on board for essentially what our mission is. And I would just love to meet more community like-minded people. And that would be I just think that would be really cool. I think more people should know about us because I think we rock. I think we do incredible things.
You definitely do.
I love our neighbors.
And how, like, maybe you could tell us just a little bit. I think we have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like, how long has, like, how did House of Hope get started, and how long has it been?
Oh my gosh, we got started in 2018, but really it goes back a little bit before that because our friend lived in the mobile home park next to Kensington Church. And so he lived there, and then as some things shifted for him, he was like, I want to move out, but I still want to keep loving my neighbors. Can someone else move in? And so two of my friends, they founded the organization. They moved in and made it an official nonprofit, and they're like, what does it look like to love our neighbors? And so we started in Lake Orion, which is really cool. And then from there, it's just been our dream to have a House of Hope people plant, which is when someone lives in a mobile home community. That's what we call them, people plants, because you're planting your roots there. You're not going anywhere. You're a part of that community.
Right.
And so, so since then we've had Oxford, Clarkson, Sterling Heights, and looking to expand and just love neighbors all over, all over the world, but all over Michigan, all over Metro Detroit is where we're starting. So
That's awesome. I love it. And, I've known of House of Hope for many years. And my son, like, even through the youth group, like you said, it started off near Kensington Church. Youth group would go and do, like, what did they
Rake
call
and
it?
Run.
Rake and Run.
Oh,
okay, I was
yeah.
going to say run and rake,
a
but
classic.
Rake and Run, like, they go and, like, go into the park and rake leaves for neighbors. So it really is, like, just even down to the littlest things.
Yeah,
So,
it's about showing up consistently so that we can be
the little
neighbors
food
they count on.
pantries, like having like the little.
We have a blessing box at every location.
Yeah. So there are a lot of little things. There's a lot of little things and bigger things that you do for these communities.
Yeah,
So.
the goal is intentionality at every level. So whether it's a blessing box, rake and run, just having porch conversations, that we're always there for our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll help you spread the word.
Thank you so
We
much.
had you in the studio. You did like a little promo, right?
That is true.
Yeah, so we put that in rotation, and
Thank you so much.
That's what we can offer you, is to help you spread the word.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of good food, we recently had Kim Urbanowski here in the studio, and she was in our kitchen to prepare a tasty chicken stew.
Ooh.
So let's take a look at that.
All right.
Hello and welcome to the ONTV Cooking Show. My name is Kim Urbanowski, and today we're going to learn how to make a classic dish. A classic comfort dish is chicken stew. Sounds easy, right? And it will be. It's going to be very easy. So this is my take on how to make a quick, easy, family-pleasing, and economically friendly chicken stew. I'm just going to start by melting 4 tablespoons of butter in this pan. And then I want to start sweating down my vegetables. Now this is about 1.5 cups of chopped onion. It's about 1 cup of carrot and 1 cup of celery. So that's about 3 stalks of celery, 3, I would say medium-sized carrots, and about 1/2 of a really big onion. But, however many vegetables you want to put into it, but this is a classic ratio for what's called a mirepoix: carrots, onions, and celery. So we're going to start cooking that. We're going to put in a little bit of flour. So we put in 1/4 cup of butter, which means we're going to put in 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Just sprinkle it on top. And then we're going to mix it all around. And that's going to cook a little bit. That's going to create a roux with these vegetables, and that is what's going to thicken our sauce. All right, so this has, if you can see on the bottom there, that started to cook. So now what we need to do, I'm going to add all of this chicken stock. Slowly. I brought my whisk just in case, but it looks like it might be able to incorporate without a whisk. If you find that you need to whisk it to get any bits up, that's totally fine. There we go. Got a little bit of stuff there at the end. I'm going to leave that out. When I make my stock, I will pour it through a sieve or a little strainer, as fine of a mesh strainer as I can get. And then I put it in the fridge, and depending on how long that you have boiled that stock, you might get a really like jello-y sort of. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot my garlic. Sorry, guys. You know what? Let's add it right now. Get a little bit of garlic in there. Okay. Normally I would have added that in with the thyme, but it's getting in there now. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Now, when you add a roux to something and you add a lot of liquid to it, you really need to give it time to cook, come up to a boil, simmer it for a little while, and that's what thickens the sauce. So now we're just going to take this chicken. So you can see this is thickened up. I'm going to turn it down here. The stew is thickened up. You can always add more thickener to it if you want to. If you want to make it super thick, you could do a little bit of flour with some cold water and make what's called a slurry, and then pour that in there and boil it again. But I'm just going to go ahead and add this chicken. See how easy that is. Here we go. That is quick, economical, family-friendly, freezable, really good chicken stew. I would serve this probably with noodles or even with maybe some dumplings on top. Either way, it's really good. Rice would be yummy.
And I got to taste that chicken stew. It was really tasty. And we're hoping Kim's going to come back and do more recipes in our kitchen.
Yeah, and maybe next time you can save a little bit for me too. So when I come into the studio, I can sample it.
That's right. That's right. All right. We now have a couple of representatives of the Orion Township Public Library with us. We have Chase McMahon, who's the director, and Paige, what's your last name?
Greer.
Greer.
Yes.
And what is your new? You're new at the library,
I've
relatively,
been
right?
around for about a year now. I'm
Okay.
the marketing librarian, so you'll see me at our events and plugging our events. So, yeah.
Awesome. So much going on at the library.
Yeah.
I took part in a fun little event. I don't know if you ever did anything like this before, but I was contacted by a woman who had written a play, and she was part of a writers group, and she asked for some people to help play the characters in the play, and they did their first table read at the library, and there was a live audience, and it was a lot of fun. Were you there for that? Did you see that at all?
I was not there for that, no.
Oh yeah, so that was something different, and that was a lot of fun. And this past Saturday was one of my favorite events that I covered. You'll see some video come up on the screen here in a bit. But you kicked off. I shouldn't say kick off because it actually kicks off in November. But we had Battle of the Books at Walden Middle School this past Saturday.
It's always one of our favorite events every
Yeah,
year.
there's some video. Talk about what
Yeah.
we're seeing up here.
Yeah, so essentially, starting in November, like you said, fifth graders from around in all schools through Orion Township are invited, and kids form teams of 4 or 5 kids, and they have 5 books to read. So they split up the books, read them all, and then on Saturday we had the big. It's like a quiz game basically. So all the teams have to answer questions pulled from the books, and then tonight we will actually have the award ceremony. We'll unveil the winners and have one of the authors who wrote a book that the kids read there to talk about her journey being an author and what it's like.
It is such a fun event. All my kids participated when they were at that age, and I love it. You can see like the different costumes because they come up with really creative team names, and then they dress in costume to like fit their team name and theme, and it's a lot of work, but it's so much fun, and it gets them reading so many different genres of books that they wouldn't normally read.
And look at that
and
turnout.
in such detail.
They
So
had
yeah.
the bleachers were full, and that's what's so cool about this event is, you go to a basketball game, you go to a volleyball game, you see people in the stands cheering and holding signs. At Battle of the Books, that's exactly what you see. People make signs, they hold them up, they're cheering. It's like a sporting event, but for people who are passionate about reading.
It is, yeah, signs and everything. Parents, teachers, everybody comes out to support the kids. So.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun, and that's been going on, close to 40 years?
Yeah, it is about 40 years old now.
Yeah.
So we've had, at this point, one of our staff members was a winner when she was in 5th grade. And a lot of the NHS volunteers that come to volunteer for that event were participants when they were in 5th grade. We always hear from different community organizations that, it comes up constantly. Oh yeah, we were in Battle of the Books when we were in 5th grade, and so it's a through line for lots of people in the community now. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little meeting with members of the Lake Orion DDA in downtown, and they asked me, what do you got going on? And I said, I'm going to be covering Battle of the Books on Saturday. And they had this intern who broke into a big smile. He goes, I was one of the winning teams. We were the book bandits or something, and back in 2011 or 2012, something like that. So, yeah, you run into so many people who took part in that, and obviously they have fond memories of it. So, yeah, really cool. Now, you have a fundraiser coming up that we want to promote. Now, the library used to do, what was the fundraising event that they did for the Friends where the theme would be like visiting a foreign country? What was that called?
That was Passport to Spring.
That's right.
Yep.
So is this going to be similar to that?
It's a little different, yeah. So the Passport to Spring, that was a group, our Friends of the Library group specifically used to plan that one. So this one, they're still partnering with us on this, but for this one, we wanted to almost have like a taste of Orion was kind of the concept we started with. So we're getting several different restaurants local to the area to participate and have different kind of hors d'oeuvres around the building. And given that it's, so we're approaching our 100-year anniversary, and we thought that, it being 2025, 100 years back, Roaring Twenties was a great theme to kind of jump off that. So rather than choosing a country, we kind of went with the Roaring Twenties theme for this one.
So it's called the Library Celebration Roaring 20 style.
Okay.
That's awesome. Are people going to be encouraged to dress up?
Of course. Our dress code is dressy, so anything a little more sparkly, a little more fun.
Okay.
We're
So
encouraging
pull out those flapper dresses.
Oh, yeah.
And do the Charleston.
Exactly.
When was Prohibition? Should we encourage bootlegging during the event?
We are going to have alcohol.
Who makes the moonshine in Lake Orion, right?
They're going to make alcohol in a bathtub and bottle it themselves. So.
We have a very strict liquor license. Just for the event. Yeah.
That's awesome. And this fundraiser, what does it allow the library to do?
Well, a lot of it is, we want people to have a different view of a chance to see the library in a different light. So it is a fundraiser. We are hoping to raise funds from it, but it's also, we have a lot of things happening right now, and we've been working with architects over the last few months to develop sort of what the library could look like over the next 20 years. How can we continue to serve the community the best that we can? And so we have sort of some building ideas that we're working on. We'd like to invite more people in to see the library that might not have been there in a while, show off the space. It's going to be held in the library through the whole library area. Paige is working on a scavenger hunt, so they can learn about all the interesting things we do they might not know about, like makerspace and library of things and all that. So a lot of it is to build enthusiasm for the things that we want to do, like possible building changes to meet future needs, or mobile library is another idea that we're really looking into quite a bit.
Yeah. That's one thing that's been great about the Orion Library is it's not just books. You try to stay relevant by adopting whatever technology comes out. The makerspace is just a great example of that, where you have all these different stations that allow people to do different things. So talk about that being a priority of trying to evolve beyond just checking out books.
Yeah, we really want to embrace the experiences too. So we're very proud of our books. Like Dunkin' Donuts, we always have books. We always want to promote reading, literacy. Yeah. It's super important to us. Yeah. But people learn in so many different ways. So we want to offer opportunities to have hands-on experiences with the makerspace. We have 3D printer, we have a routing machine, a Glowforge engraver where you can engrave wood. So it's just a lot of fun, and that's, you see a lot of people, especially like over the holidays, they'll come in and make gifts for their family members. So that's just one way that we, offer those sort of hands-on experiences in a kind of setting where people can learn.
And I will say, I am actually grateful that books is still a priority, because in this day of technology and everybody loves their Kindles and reading online, I don't like that. I actually like a nice paper book and to, sit and being able to open it. And so I love it that I can go to the library and borrow a book as opposed to having to spend, hundreds of dollars to get to read the books that I'd like to. So.
Yeah,
Paige recently we send an email out every year talking about how much people use the library.
Right, that's our You Saved email. So it'll tell you how much you saved on print books as well as our digital resources, so our audiobooks, ebooks, movies you can watch, streaming.
Yep.
So
I use all of it. So my You Saved is quite large at the end of the year. But yeah, the movies too, you bring up a good point. I know we were talking a previous episode about Star Wars, and I was watching the movies, and there were a couple movies that I didn't have available in my free on demand, and so I checked the library and there they were. So my son Colby and I, we made it down and got to finish out the Star Wars movie series. So
speaking of movies, and I hope I'm not throwing you off with this, but I was texting a friend the other day, and he said there's a streaming service that you can get access to watch movies that you register at the library. What do you know about that? What can you share about that?
So we have two of them actually. There's Canopy, which has a lot of classic films, foreign films, as well as independent films. There's also some mainstream movies as well, but that's a really big hub for those really film fans. There's also Hoopla, which is our ebook, audiobook, and then video streaming service, and it has TV shows on it as well. So there's a couple options there.
How does someone sign up for that?
Joe's a movie buff, so he's like, ooh.
Just your library card.
Just the library card. That's awesome.
I use Hoopla and then Libby through the library as well, because I do like audiobooks at times, because if I'm cooking or doing things, then I can listen to the book while I'm doing something else. So they're great. Yeah, you need to get signed up, Joe.
Yeah.
I know.
For
I know.
movie buffs, Canopy has the whole Criterion collection
Right,
on there.
exactly.
So that's it's great.
Joe needs to go on the scavenger hunt, right?
There we go.
That's right. One of your librarians, Dan Major, he comes in about once a month and does a podcast here at ONTV and talks about all the great things happening at the library. And he did one episode that kind of threw me off, because he comes in, he records it, he leaves, I take the audio file, I process it, we upload it to SoundCloud. Well, I tend to listen to the podcast just to get an idea of what it's about. And I hear a man and a woman having a conversation, and I didn't recognize the voices. And so I send an email to Dan, and I said, I didn't know you had guests on today. You got to give me their information so I can list them. And he says, no, that was AI. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, we started off the podcast with an AI conversation that sounded so real. And apparently I didn't listen long enough to realize when he came back and said that was AI. But that blew my mind. I couldn't believe that.
It's kind of scary how convincing it was. It's true. If you had, it got repetitive eventually. So I guess we still have jobs, right? For the time being, but it's scary how good it is now. And that's another thing that we've had classes on AI at the library. We're just people are interested in how can they use it. What is it good for? What do you want to avoid? And then in the library world, it always comes down to like copyright and stuff too.
Right.
There's a lot of thorny legal issues around AI that is far above the library's pay grade to address. we try to engage with it to stay in the know about it a little bit. At least.
Yeah, and that's another great role that the library has in the community, is to educate the public on things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and there's so many different classes and presentations that you have, from financing and estate planning to learning about craft beers and the history. And so whatever your interest, you just need to check out the website, right? Everything's on the website. Or
Absolutely. We have our calendar, and there's events every day, so check it out.
Well, and we even have one coming up this weekekend.
Yeah.
So
ask them about it.
Yeah, tell us about on Sunday. What do we have
So,
coming
like
up?
you mentioned earlier, the Dancelers, they are opera singers. They will be coming for a Oakland University recital, basically. So they'll have a pianist with them, and they'll be singing.
That is awesome. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even realize when we were talking about it earlier. I'm like, I think I need to clear my schedule and be there on Sunday. So they're going to come and put on a concert at the library Sunday at 2:00.
Yep.
So, and do you have to register for it? Can you just show up?
Nope, you can just show up.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And that's in the meeting room?
It'll be in the meeting.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's great.
What is, so you do a lot of history events there. I know the Historical Society does presentations there, and there is the James Ingram Room, right? What is Connecting the Dots, Exploring Michigan's History? And it says the early settlers of Oxford.
So this upcoming Historical Society program is about Oxford and all the different historical events that have happened throughout the years. It'll go early on in Oxford's history and then lead up to the present.
That's awesome.
And that's Monday
this
evening.
Monday.
It's 7 p.m. So if you're one who doesn't partake in a pub crawl on St. Patrick's Day, this might be right up your alley, right? This might be something that you're interested in.
Yeah,
You'll feel
definitely.
better
Something
the
for
next day.
something for everyone. You will feel that, and you won't have to call in, right?
There we go.
That's right. Also, anyone who visits the library over the next few weeks, they're going to see some activity in the parking lot. What's happening outside?
Oh yeah. So this is, well, it's not fun, but it's necessary, right? So we are making it a little fun. So we're getting a brand new parking lot. The one we have is original to the building, about 40 years old. So it was just, absolutely time to replace it. If you have been there lately, we have some potholes that we're trying to patch up, just to keep it till we can replace it. But in the course of getting a new parking lot, which is nice in itself, we're going to add a drive-through lane so that we have a a book return / hold pickup window.
Okay.
So people will have an easier time picking up their holds or returning their items without having to get their kids out of the car seats and run into the building. And so we're looking forward to that. We're adding a few extra parking spaces to the lot while we're taking a look at it, and just fixing the kind of the traffic flow of things, making it a little easier to get in and out of.
Yeah, some people don't follow the signage, and they'll come in and like hang a left when someone's trying to come out. So yeah, I guess we could make that a little more clear, I suppose. Yeah. One thing, another thing that's great about the library is not only do you utilize the indoor space, but you utilize the outdoor space. You have the great reading garden out back. Talk about ways that you use the outdoor space around the library.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest ones, our summer reading kickoff, which this year is June 7th. We hold that outside, and we usually have about 1,000 people show up to that. We bring in bounce houses and rock climbing walls and all sorts of different events year to year. We host some programs outside. Sometimes book groups will meet outside. Through the summer, we have lots of different children's activities for a summer reading program. Last year we had the eclipse party where everybody came and we had solar eclipse glasses that people could watch the eclipse.
Yeah.
Any other?
It's a pretty setting. So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
for anybody who plays Pokemon Go, there's several gyms and Pokestops at
Yes.
the library as well. So,
And you're right off of Pollyant Trail, right?
We are, yeah. We're right off of Pollyant Trail. We have a connector path that, so if you want to ride your bike to the library, you can take the Pollyant Trail most of the way and easily connect. We're going to be working with the County Parks Department to actually we have a grass field that's right beside the Pollyant Trail, and we're going to let that grow out into natural wildflowers. So they're going to seed that for us, and then eventually we'll see wildflowers bloom up from there and
I
clean
love
up our
that.
woods a little bit. So we have a nice outdoor property there.
That's great. We need to wrap up this segment. If someone wants to buy tickets to the upcoming fundraiser, where can people get that information?
Yeah, you can head to our homepage of our website, orionlibrary.org. You can click right on that first image there. It says Library Celebration. And if you want to instead come to the library and purchase your tickets, you can do that at the front desk.
That's fantastic.
so if you come on Sunday for the performance, right? Sunday, March 16th at 2 p.m., you could always stop and get your tickets then.
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
And with St. Patrick's Day right around the corner, we want to take you to the segment where you can enjoy a little Irish music.
That was the Harvest Home. George Sinnott and Debbie Less.
All right.
And our next song is If You're Irish. 1, 2, 1, 2. If you're Irish, come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you. If your name is Timothy or Pat, so long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the mat. If you come from the mountains of Mourne or Killarney's a lake so blue, we'll sing you a song and make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. You're Irish, this is the place for you.
Come into the parlor now and make yourself at home. Come in the parlor, sure you won't be on your own. There's Mick McGee and there's Rafferty, there's Murphy and Muldoon.
They say McGilligan's daughter doesn't know the taste of Waterloo. There's steaks and salad spread about enough for half the town. There's bottles of that quarter if you want to wash it down. Oh, if you're Irish, you're sure of the welcome. There's a hooligan at Hannigan's house tonight. Hey, George. We'll sing you a song and make a fuss. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you.
Come into the parlor now and make yourself at home. Come in the parlor, sure you won't be on your own. There's Mick McGee and there's Rafferty, there's Murphy and Muldoon.
They say McGilligan's daughter doesn't know the taste of Waterloo. There's steaks and salad spread about enough for half the town. There's bottles of the quarter if you want to wash it down. Oh, if you're Irish, you're sure of a welcome. There's a hooligan at Hannigan's house tonight.
You better believe it.
There's a hooligan at Hannigan's house tonight.
Don't you forget it.
There's a hooligan at Hannigan's house tonight. If you're Irish.
The Lake Orion Lions Club invites you to attend the 9th annual Lions Races at Boulder Point Golf Club on Saturday, April 5th. Sponsors create large wooden lions that take part in multiple races throughout the evening. Place your bets and win some bucks while helping the Lions Club in their charitable efforts in the community. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. with the races starting at 6:30 p.m. A taco bar is included. For ticket information, go to the Lake Orion Lions Facebook page or visit lakeorionlions.org.
Yeah, the Lions races, that's always a fun event. I cover it every year, and they have given us a lion that I decorated in ONTV colors, and so it's one of the lions that is competing that night, and it's so much fun. You gamble like you're at the Kentucky Derby. They got the taco bar, and everyone has such a great time. And, and so that's a big fundraiser for the Lions Club for all the stuff they do in the community.
Yeah, that's coming up in a few weeks.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And of course, you know, later this summer, which I'm looking forward to, they have their annual Jubilee in downtown Lake Orion, and that's one of the big parties of the year here in Lake Orion.
It is, and I love when the year that they moved it back to downtown.
Yeah.
Because it was downtown forever, right?
Yeah,
a number of years, and then they moved it away, and then it just wasn't the same. So they brought it back into the downtown. So
now, being a Lake Orion resident, do you remember why they moved the Jubilee?
I actually don't know. I thought there were complaints about it being downtown.
They were tearing up the streets. You remember that?
Oh.
Now we see all this beautiful brickwork at
so it was
Flint
when we were
and
doing
Broadway.
the streetscape.
Yeah, and so they tore up the whole downtown Flint and Broadway area, so the Lions Club was forced to move the Jubilee over to Canterbury Village, where Woodside is now. And then they stayed there for a couple of years, but it really impacted attendance a lot. And so eventually they came back to downtown Lake Orion, where I think it belongs. It really does belong there.
It does. And again, I know I say this every time we talk about an event in downtown, but I just love it. I love the vibe and the feel and being walking distance. I love being able to just walk, the streets and everything that goes with it. And and then when you're down there, like I know I tend to go into the stores then more often because I'm already down there on foot, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, and there's been several ribbon cuttings in downtown Lake Orion. So, I've said this before, whenever there's a vacancy in downtown Lake Orion, it doesn't stay vacant long. There's
No.
always a new business moving in. They just recently had the official grand opening of the cigar bar
Yep.
next to Sagebrush Cantina.
Yep.
And there's all kinds of new businesses opening, and that's always great to see. And, I love businesses that generate foot traffic. And so you can go to downtown Lake Orion, have a meal,
Yeah.
go over, get an ice cream at Cookies and Cream,
Yeah.
go to the antique store that is relatively new. And, there's so much to see and do down there.
There is. Grab if you need to pick up a gift for an upcoming event, go to Green Hippo Gifts.
Exactly.
And there's so many different places. And now we're getting closer to the concert music series, and
Oh, yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but before we get there, we have just today we learned of so many great events that are coming up in the community. So
Yeah, and so Becky puts together a list of upcoming activities over the next week or so. Let's take a look at that now.
The Right Stuff Writers Workshop will be taking place at the Orion Library this Wednesday night from 7 to 8:30. Come and connect with a group of like-minded writers to learn from each other, share ideas, and practice your writing skills. This program is suitable for teens and adults. For more information, visit orionlibrary.org. On Saturday, the Orion Library will be hosting Dragon Tale Storytime from 11 o'clock to noon. Join the library for a fun-filled hour of learning and creativity designed specifically for children in kindergarten through 3rd grade. Please register at orionlibrary.org. Join the Wint Nature Center this Saturday for X Marks the Spot. Learn the adventure of letterboxing and solve clues to find the pot of gold in this interactive session of mischief and mayhem. The program begins at 2 o'clock and is suitable for all ages. Registration is required by calling 248-858-0916. The Orion Center will be hosting a puzzle and game day swap on Friday, March 21st. There will be puzzles, books, DVDs, and board games for anyone to swap. The event is free and runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mark your calendar for the Orion Library celebration. This fundraising event is themed the Roaring 20s style and will be filled with jazz music, dancing, food, drinks, and more. The event will take place on Wednesday, April 9th. Doors open at 6:30. For more information and tickets, visit orionlibrary.org. Well, looks like the spring temperatures will be sticking around, but the spring showers will arrive for the weekend. Wednesday's forecast is calling partly cloudy skies with a high of 46 and low 29. Partly cloudy again on Thursday with a high 53, low 34. Mostly cloudy on Friday with a high of 66 and low 53. Rain and windy on Saturday with a high of 64 and low 49. And morning showers on Sunday with a high 51 and low 29. Well, that's it for this week's Orion TV Quick Hit. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Becky. You enjoying the warmer temperatures out there?
I am. Yeah, it's nice to get outside and go for a walk and not need to, bundle up. So, how about you? Are you getting out?
Yeah, when the temperatures warm up, I just try to find an excuse to just get outside and do something.
Yeah.
Because most of winter, I just don't want to do anything, so I just stay at home like a hermit.
Yeah.
So it's nice, especially when the sun's out. That makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little chillier, I love when the sun is
Yeah,
shining.
the sun shining, it just feels good, right?
Yeah. And I've had
So-
several people ask me if I put the top down yet on my convertible. Like, I'm not quite there yet.
Why not? Aren't you supposed to put the top down and crank the heat? Isn't that how it goes this time of year?
What's the point of that? No, I wanted to get in up near 70 to put the top down and go cruise with the top down. So we're going to wait a little bit. Plus, you just mentioned a second ago that we might still get some snow in March, which there's always, March goes out kicking and screaming. It does. And I remember one time, this is back in the 80s, I bought a car. And I remember I brought it home on March 13th, Friday the 13th. And when I woke up the next day, it was buried in snow. I had to dig it out to drive it. So we may still get some snow before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I heard next week, middle of next week, we're supposed to get like a big storm. So we'll see. right? You never know.
Yeah. You said you're going on spring break. About what time is that?
I am. So spring break for Lake Orion School District is the last week in March.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yep. So I'm headed down to Naples, Florida. I have a cousin who lives there, so be going to visit her. So I'm looking forward to soaking up some natural vitamin D. Maybe
It's a
won't have
good
to take
time
my
to get away.
supplement that week.
Yeah, especially if the snow comes down. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have fun on your spring break, and
Thank you.
let's hope that any snow we get is the last of it for the year, and
Yeah.
bring on the warm weather. And
Yeah, maybe next time I'm here, I'll have a tan. We'll see.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps up this episode of Orion Today. Thanks to our guests who came out today to share their activities that are happening here in the community, and we'll be back again in about 2 weeks. So we'll see you then.